Martin, it's a pleasure to speak with you. What really made you want to work with Maggie Q? Because it's hard to even imagine, somebody else in this role. She's so great in the film.
Well, she was cheap. That was no, no, no. She no, no. She's well. First of all, we needed someone who was Vietnamese, and she's half Vietnamese. Secondly, she's a terrific actress. Actress. Thirdly, she's brilliant with action. She's been trained, and she worked with Jackie Chan. So she is absolutely in terms of the action, she is extremely experienced.
And I know you just worked with Jackie Chan on The Foreigner, and like you said, he kind of found her and brought her up. Did he
Indeed.
recommend her?
No, no, I didn't speak to her because really Jackie had gone back to China, so I never, between them, I didn't ever talk to Jackie about it. So it was just I happened to see a clip of Maggie that was where I really loved her performance, and so it was based on that. I didn't even know she was kind of did the action. I had no clue about that. I just saw her performance and really liked it. So that's why I cast her.
The chemistry between her and Michael Keaton are so great. Keaton has this great line. He's like, "Are we gonna fight? Are you gonna kill me or fuck me?" It's very funny. Can you just talk about that chemistry? They're electric on screen together.
Yeah, I think it is. They're two equally balanced. They are both assassins, both pretty lethal assassins, and there's a kind of sexual chemistry between them that is it's almost sort of like they get their rocks off by sparring with one another, and finally in the scene where they confront each other and they have a fight, basically, which is in a sense is foreplay, if you know what I mean, before they end up together. And right the way through, and neither of them will really take a step back from the other. They are equally matched all down the line, which was the idea. And there's just this sort of chemistry between them that is sort of, the sexual chemistry, if you see what I mean, is all there, which of course culminates in the scene in the restaurant.
You mentioned like they're all assassins. That's such an interesting interplay here, because you don't kind of have that morality thing, like like maybe a special agent isn't gonna want to do something too dirty, but you don't have to worry about that here.
No,
How
you
fun of
don't.
a sandbox is this?
Well, you're absolutely right. There's no moral kind of line that of course, they're, crossed. I mean, with Maggie, for example, she's there with Moody in the office underneath the barn, and she says something about, we've never put anybody away that didn't have it coming. Well, that's a kind of very broad statement, and so you get the impression that that they're professional assassins, but they only take on jobs where the people deserve what they're about to get. Michael Keaton, on the other hand, has this sort of, his character has this enigma. You're not quite sure, who he's working for. That kind of becomes apparent, towards the end of the movie. But there is a slight enigmatic quality about him for about 3/4 of the movie, where you don't quite know what he is. What he's, he's an assassin. He has that big fight in the alleyway, in which he proves pretty lethal in that. So yes, I mean, as characters, they're absolutely sort of evenly matched.
Maggie gets to show that she's a total badass straight from the start. Like the action scene at the very beginning is just phenomenal. How important was it to just strike with a bang, like right from the beginning there?
Well, really important. There's a sort of moment where she plays that scene by the swimming pool. I assume that's the one you mean.
Yeah.
And she plays it like a frightened schoolgirl, basically. But of course, all of that we learn is all an act. And it was important to set her up exactly who she is. That was the point, and exactly how lethal she is. And that was the scene. And it's interesting. We wrote about 4 different scenes for that opening, and that came up the best, that scene. And it was originally set in an office. It wasn't at a swimming pool. I just happened to find a location that was the swimming pool, so I adapted it all for that. But yeah, it was important to set her up right from the beginning of the movie, who she was.
The action scenes are so great throughout. They're complex, but I never got lost in the action. How do you find that balance between, not going too fast and viewers kind of missing out?
Well, you put your finger on it. The thing is to stand back and just let the action be seen. So many films nowadays, they're overcut, they're too fast. And really, we choreographed those fights so you could see them and that you can see the action, and it's grounded in reality, if you know what I mean, all that action. It's not too far-fetched. It's not, it doesn't rely on any CGI to help it along. It was all done for real, if you will. I mean, yeah, we had to take out a few cables and wires and stuff like that. But beyond that, it was all done, for real without the use of CGI, which people just overuse now, I think, in terms of action. And they also film action badly. It's either too close, cut too fast, whatever it may be. So you get no sense of really what's going on with the action.
I love the connection between Maggie and Sam Jackson's character because he's this father figure, and like the film title says, she's his protege, but they still have like this respect for each other. They're equals in each other's eyes. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, Sam is really a surrogate father. That's what he is. I mean, right at the beginning, you see this. You see Anna as a little girl. It's how they connect in Vietnam, and he's a surrogate father, and it's really a father-daughter relationship. That's what it is. Even though they're teamed up as a team, which we establish fairly quickly, that when they work together, and successfully so. But I just saw that very much as the emotional spine of the film, her relationship with Sam as a father figure.
Robert Patrick is such a pros pro. How exciting was it to get him on board for this film?
Well, I've worked with Robert before. I did a pilot. I did about a nuclear submarine. So I knew him pretty well. And he loves motorcycles. In fact, he has a dealership, I think, a Harley dealership. And so for him, of course, it was like a pig in shit, basically. He was absolutely, he loved the idea of getting on motorbikes and leading a bunch of aging, motors like Hell's Angels to where they meet Maggie. So no, he's a terrific guy. I like him a lot.
Action films are certainly your forte, but you started out doing some comedies. Is there any other genres you'd like to do? Would you like to go back to do another comedy?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to do a comedy. I think I'd be pretty good at it. I mean, I've never done one. I always have a sense of humor. If you look at some of my past work, Zorro had a sense of humor. This even has a sense of humor. There's a kind of that sort of ripples through some of them, but a straight out comedy like Wedding Crashers or something, I'd love to do. Something like that.
You got to do two Bond films, and GoldenEye has such a lasting legacy. What does it mean for you when people, all the Bond films, and many people point that as their favorite? Like, are you blown away?
To be honest, I get a lot of people give me a lot of kudos for it. But to be honest, we had great script writers, certainly in Casino, and Paul Haggis, who wrote that script or did the final version of that script, so the success of those films is sort of spread across. Really, I didn't really take authorship of them. Because Bond is iconic, yes, but it's also a huge team that you have in order to make those films work.
Speaking of Casino, did you intend for that to be followed by a direct sequel?
No, not at all. The Quantum of Solace, which by the way is the title of a Ian Fleming short story. No, they came up with that, and so no, I had Mr. White. I had no idea. I think I shot him in the leg at the end of Casino. I had him crawling across the driveway to finally confront Bond.
Amazon just have the rights to the franchise now, and there's going to be a new actor after this new film comes out. Would you still be interested? I know you always want to work with a new Bond. Is that something that still interests you?
Oh yeah, yeah. If they asked me, I'd certainly consider it.
Are there any actors that you haven't worked with yet that really stick out as people you'd like to work with in the future?
I don't. Well, there's always the great ones like DiCaprio and the I love working with Anthony Hopkins, for example, on Thor. I'd love to work with him again. He's such a wonderful actor. Um, yeah, I think the top echelon of I'm just trying to think apart from DiCaprio and Cruise. I'd love to work with. I think he's a terrific actor. I mean, I know he for whatever reason just keeps seeming to do the Mission Impossible stuff, but he's actually a much better actor than that. I mean, he's great in those films, but I'd love to see him do something that really tested him as an actor, because the parts he's done in the past, where he's Magnolia, the comedy he did in the jungle, what was that called? But he was absolutely terrific.
And then the name change from the asset. Do you feel like the Protégé is more fitting for this?
I think so. I think it's just more. It fits better. She is a protege, basically. He's trained her, albeit he's a father figure. He has trained her. She's now a part of the team. So in a way, she is his protege, whereas the asset is a little different. It's a little more impersonal, and yeah, I think it's better.
And then my last question here, certainly the pandemic impacted the filming, but we are getting to release it in theaters. How exciting is that for you?
Well, it's good, obviously. I mean, the pandemic is obviously a huge problem with people going back to the cinema and so forth, but it's great to see it on a screen instead of a TV screen at home, if you see what I mean. Because streaming, of course, I don't know. For me, the experience of actually going to a theater is so much better than me watching it on TV.